Alright, there we go. We're recording. Different video format. I'm doing this to kind of save myself some editing space because I've had a lot of stuff going on with school. But this is the Madness at the Darkmoon Fair mini expansion. What in the heck is it called? I forget. Darkmoon Races? Is that what we're... Yeah, Darkmoon Races. Don't mind me on Reddit. I'll put this link down below if you guys want to share your opinions for the cards. I've given every single card like a very brief look just to see. I didn't really give it much thought, so here's my first raw opinions. I'm going to try and fly through the cards a little bit quickly. But if you guys do enjoy this video, feel free to leave a like and comment below what you guys think about some of the cards. Maybe there's some deck lists and cool things that you may consider that I probably absolutely ignored. That being said, I want to try and go through these quickly. Other people have done them. I'm doing it too. Expect the production of this video to be a little bit down, but this is going to be my opinion of all the different cards, and if you do want to check out some of the gameplay that comes along with these, I will be purchasing the entire set and playing Hearthstone at some point live on Twitch. I'm live every Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday at midnight Central Time. I know it's a weird time, but it's absolutely fine. I'll leave that link below so you can go ahead and check it out. Let's just get started. Arbor up, 5 mana Druid spell, summon 2/2/2 Treants, give your minions +2/+1. 2-star card, I don't think it's that bad. Token Druid is not really strong. At 5 mana, you probably want to either close the game out, or you just want something a lot bigger, like the Forest's Aid for 8 mana being a twin spell to fill up your entire board. This seems like a good middle-of-the-road way to get there, but I'm not 100% on it. Armor Vendor, 1 mana, 1/3 neutral, Battlecry, give 4 armor to each hero. It's really good. The only argument I have for this is if it's worth a deck slot, but that being said, 1 mana 1/3 with neutral upside for both people that benefits slower control decks. Reminds me a lot of how Zombie Chow operates. I'm excited to see this card do really well. I imagine this is going to fit as the early curve to help stall out against aggressive decks. Backfire, 3 mana Warlock spell, draw 3 cards, deal 3 damage to your hero. I think it's neutral. I think right now, Warlock lists have a lot of draw synergy with like Sense Demons and Free Admission, so that Demon package is really essential. And anything else that's more aggressive, we have the Hand of Gul'dan, Hand of Gul'dan that's being discounted in Zoolock and it's like constantly discarded for a ton of card value. You have Plot Twists and just your hero power in general and other slower decks. I feel like this probably won't see play, but this isn't a bad... Actually, I'm gonna move it down. Thinking over it more and more. I don't see a place where you'd want to put this in the current meta. Not a bad card at all. I could see this seeing play at some point, but all of these predictions are going to be for what the current set is right now. Barricade, summon a 2/4 guard with taunt. If it's your only minion, summon another. I don't know how to evaluate it. The card's pretty efficient. If you have no other minions, you know, that's 4 mana for 4/8 in stats. That's really efficient. Dual Paladin could take advantage of this as some early stuff to stall. That being said, you probably want some more high impact spells and things when you're trying to play Vargoth, so I don't know if you'd want this, but it's not a minion you need to run in your deck, so Barricade could actually end up being really good. I think I'm going to leave it at 3 stars. I see this in Dual Paladin. I don't really see you running this in Warrior, ever, so I'm just going to leave it there. Bola Shot, deal 1 damage to a minion and 2 damage to its neighbors. Isn't there like a Grievous Bite card that's very similar to this from a previous set? I feel like there is. I know these cards are pretty efficient. I don't think Hunter wants to do stuff like this. You probably would be able to contest some early aggression, and I imagine that could be... maybe Highlander Hunter would want to use it to deal with aggressive decks, right? Bola Shot has some good potential. Beyond that, I don't see an archetype that works. Conjure Mana Biscuit. Add a biscuit to your hand that refreshes 2 mana crystals. We're cheating mana. I don't know exactly what we're going to do with it, but I love the card, I love the art, I love the style, and this, in my mind, is going to enable an OTK. Don't know how, but giving you extra mana crystals to do that makes it possible. So some Freeze Mage style shenanigans. Realistically, the deck's probably not going to do good. It's going to get steamrolled by aggro, but I love the card. I hope to see it work. I am going to try and make it work. Crab Rider, 2 mana 1/4 Murloc Rush Wind Fury. Oh my god, I love the art. He's schmoovin', man. He's schmoovin'. 2 stars. Having a Murloc with Wind Fury is awesome. Murloc tribal decks are generally not the greatest, but I mean, this is just a good card, right? What, Rush and Wind Fury when you get attack buffs, that could be efficient, but 4 health, realistically with Rush, you're probably trading into 2 things and dying. That being said, if this thing does stick as a Murloc you generate and you start buffing it, powerful damage to come in. Really cool. First legendary, Dark Inquisitor Zanesh. Let's hope that's pronounced right. 5 mana 3/5 Priest legendary minion. Battlecry, reduce the cost of all corrupt cards in your hand and deck by 2. Priest has some pretty nice corrupt cards, yeah? I don't play a lot of Priest, admittedly, but I think this card, I'm gonna consider it a little bit more. Reducing the cost of corrupt cards makes them easier to corrupt later on, so you have to consider that that's extremely important. The fact that it's strictly in Priest, we have the 3 mana 4/3 that becomes a 4/7, the random 4-drop or random 3-drop that becomes a 7-drop, right? Those are the only ones that are corrupt that I really remember. Strongman exists, but like we don't really run that in Priest, I don't think. Maybe you do. I don't play Priest. The effect's very efficient in a class that I think generates enough value in cards that we don't really want to run this. I'm leaving it at 3 stars. I don't think it's going to do a whole lot. Death Warden, 3 mana 2/5 neutral epic. Death Rattles can't trigger. 5-star card. I love tech cards. I think I've always rated tech cards higher than they're ever going to see play, but this absolutely shuts down any components of people trying to pop off with Rattlegore. Libram of Wisdoms will then get shut down because those death rattles can't pop off. I think those are the 2 big things that it really negates, but those are critical cards that are kind of staple in the meta right now. And I'd imagine Death Warden's a very good answer to respond to it. I'm going to drop it to 4, actually. This isn't a universally broken card. I think this is just like great tech choice if something becomes problematic that genuinely does shut down a few of the very powerful cards. Death Warden and removal is kind of like why we're running Silas Darkmoon, just because we're trying to deal with Rattlegore, we're trying to deal with big stuff. I think Death Warden's a little bit more universal. Silas Darkmoon is very good, though. I think I'm happy to leave him here, and I think he will see some play in negation of Rattlegore and Libram of Wisdom. Dreaming Drake, 3 mana 3/4 dragon for Druid with Taunt, Corrupt, gain +2/+2. Not bad. I'm thinking of the, Breath of Dreams? Having more dragons in your deck that you don't mind playing to help give the extra mana crystal. I could see this fitting in very nicely. At 3 mana, this is very easy to corrupt. Overgrowth is easily going to do it. Emerald Explorer, or basically anything late game Druid. And not to mention that because you're playing Druid, like you probably are going to get this out with the same amount of mana, but because you are kind of curving ahead, this card can be very efficient. That being said, I don't know if it's worth a card slot in a deck. We'll wait to see, but Dreaming Drake here I think is going to fit nicely. Envoy Rustwix, 5 mana 5/4 legendary demon for Warlock. Death Rattle, shuffle 3 random prime legendary minions into your deck. I'm putting him at 3 stars. This is the first one that I think I looked at a while and I kind of just thought about it. Cool shenanigans with Kanrathad Prime and Envoy Rustwix being able to kind of infinitely recur those demons. You'll get a ton of primes in your deck and you can kind of just win the game out that way. My question is, why are we trying to win with primes when we have Cthulhu the Shattered, right? Cthulhu is just your win con that you chuck in, and it doesn't really require setup, you just eventually draw into it. With Warlock having Supreme Archaeology and plot twists, you're gonna be finding those pieces more. So Envoy Rustwix just seems like a more minion-based way to win the game. Granted, people are trying to shut down Cthulhu decks. Obviously, Ticketus is going to mill a Cthulhu piece. You kind of do just cry. So Envoy Rustwix is another one of those like single cards, helps to bring out a win con. I could see it being run as a secondary win con, but with lists kind of being tight right now, I imagine that Envoy Rustwix probably won't be seeing a ton of play in terms of extreme competitive decks. Because with Envoy Rustwix, Ticketus, and the Aranasi Broodmothers, I think they are, the ones that heal you for 4 when you draw them, that's already 3 different demons, and Kanrathad would already be there. Moarg Artificers are very strong demons that you probably still want to run in the deck. And then at that point, the Kanrathad synergy to try and go infinite with this isn't great. Do I want to run this card just by itself for 3 prime legendary minions? It's not bad, but I think in a control list, right? Like, if Cthulhu wins us the game, why are we slowing down the process of winning the game to put more powerful cards in the deck? I see this card being powerful, but I feel like it's doing something different And that different thing that it's trying to accomplish with value from primes is just worse than the Cthulhu Wincon. I'm leaving it at 3 stars. It's a powerful card, but I think it's probably a little too niche. Fellfire Deadeye, 2 mana 2/3 dual class for Demon Hunter and Hunter. Your hero power costs 1 less. That's a cool card. Free Demon Hunter hero power. Love to see it with the Mana Feeder Panthara. For Hunter, you can get a little bit more efficient with your Phase Stalkers, your Dwarven Sharpshooters, your Dragonbane. A lot of good things that you're trying to take advantage of with hero power. It's why Hunter's been running Tour Guide. I can see this card seeing play, for sure. With Demon Hunter getting nerfed quite a bit and aggro as a whole taking some hits, Fellfire Deadeye, I think, definitely can make the cut in new lists now. Fellsaber, 4 mana 5/6 Demon for Demon Hunter, can only attack if your hero attacked this turn. These effects have never worked. Right? Demon Hunter is the class that if it's any class, it's gonna work. But I just don't like this, like, it needs to have something in order to be active. I feel like none of those cards ever really saw play. Arcane Watcher requiring spell damage. You just taunted the thing and it became a wall, right? That was like the old classic hand lock where you just wanted to taunt big things and hold the line. I don't see Fellsaber really making the cut. Big Demon Hunter hasn't really seen its light yet. I just don't see an archetype where Fellsaber fits in. Granted, yes, you can pretty easily get your hero power to swing in all the time as Demon Hunter. And then this becomes an efficient card. I'm personally not a fan of these archetypes. I don't recall seeing them work, so probably not going to. I'm leaving it at 1 star because of that. Glacial Racer, 1 mana 1/3 mage minion, spell burst, deal 3 damage to all frozen enemy. Jeez, that's great. My first instinct is Frost Nova and Blizzard, right? Like with spell burst, that Blizzard becomes 7 mana, deal 5. Frost Nova's 4 mana, deal 3. It's a one-sided Hellfire in that case. Sure, it's a 2-card combo, but like Frost Nova Doomsayer, Frost Nova Glacial Racer, you try to do this early on, that takes care of it. Glacial Racer with Ray of Frost. This is amazing. Yeah, I like this card. This is just good. This is one I haven't even seen yet. Like some of these cards I've never even noticed. I like Glacier Racer a lot. That is a very good card. Generating it's gonna be awesome. Not sure if you want to run it in like as a base version of the card in the deck, but if aggro becomes very strong, like this early removal in my mind is kind of like why you'd run Lab Partner too, right? I can see that scene play, absolutely. Guidance. Druid Shaman, 1 mana dual class spell. Look at 2 spells, add 1 to your hand, or overload 1 to get both. I assume this is looking at 2 spells that are randomly generated, nothing that's directly in your deck. So Guidance, I'm gonna put 2 stars? Maybe 3? I don't know. So spell generation in Shaman isn't really required. We have Instructor Fireheart. You have the quest, which just gets you a ton of value. In Druid, however, cards like Nature Studies have... I mean, I originally kind of docked, and I realize it's just a good card. I don't know why I brought it down that way. I don't think we need more spells like this. Like, why do we need to look for these specific spells if we don't get cost reduction? This type of generation, this reminds me a lot of, like, Raven Idol, right? And would Raven Idol see play in today? Yeah, I think it would. All right, back to 3 stars. Guidance isn't bad. I think if I compare it to something like Raven Idol, decent card. I think it's got good potential. Not sure if it's got a spot in deck lists right now. Because we're at the end of a rotation, lists are very tight. I could see this card seeing play later. Right now, don't think so. Hysteria. Choose a minion. It attacks random minions until it dies. Like when I look at mass hysteria and I look at, you know, single target hysteria, this is a bit underwhelming, right? I'm not too excited by it, but that being said, it can remove like one threat that you really need to get rid of pretty efficiently. You can also try and take advantage of things that need to attack multiple times. I don't think Priest or Warlock have cards that you want to attack multiple times, but 3 mana for in Priest and Warlock that have very good single target removal right now, Brittlebone Destroyer being a much stronger dual class card to remove things, Priest having the Shadow Words, Warlock having Siphon Soul, Cascading Disaster, you name it, they got removal, Dark Skies, Nether Breath. Hysteria, this may see play later when we lose tools. Right now, this is not efficient enough, I don't think. Illidari Studies. Discover an outcast card. Your next one costs 1 less. A studies card automatically is alright. I've learned this mistake. This is by default just a free discover an outcast card. How many things are we really outcasting? Not sure. I don't think Demon Hunter wants to discover more outcast cards. With that being said, a free Skull of Gul'dan, a free weapon, you know, the outcast one that got nerfed, Dreadlord's Bite, I think it's called. Free I-Beam, free Philosophy. You could find something that probably is going to be practical. Once again, though, it's just kind of one of those, like, I'm not even saying this is too slow for Demon Hunter, because it's mana efficient. Like, it's mana neutral, because you're spending 1, you reduce 1, but I don't know. I'd have to see how this goes. The pool of outcast cards, generally, there's very specific ones that you want, and if you hit one of the cards you don't want, kind of do feel bad. Imprisoned Celestial? Dormant for 2 turns, 3 mana, 4/5 Paladin minion. Spell Burst, give your minions Divine Shield. It's not bad. It's not bad at all. Libram Paladin and Pure Paladin are probably some of the biggest archetypes I've played this expansion. If you get your Librams to cost 0, or even at 2, that's a very easy way to proc the Spell Burst, and you can have a good wide board with Air Raid, possibly. Sure, there's Balloon Merchant. Lithraxian accomplishes the same kind of thing. This being dormant for 2 turns, however, does help you to set up something so you could eventually curve into turn 5. Aldor, is it, what, Truthseeker? Not Truthseeker. Is it Aldor Truthseeker? The 5 mana 4/6 taunt? Whatever that one that reduces your Librams by 2, right? This thing can then make your Librams cost 0, and then you can bubble it, and it's a 5/7, and that's just more efficient than how the Devout Pupils are run. So this is kind of like Devout Pupil. You play it a little bit early, you do kind of got to plan it. I think I'm going to turn it down a little bit. Lists are very tight. I don't know what you'd want to cut for Imprisoned Celestial. The draw is very important in these lists. I think at 3 mana, Goody 2 Shields is just a more efficient card to do that by itself. Having the 4/2 Battlecry get yourself a weapon. With that a bubble, it's really good, but realistically, you just play it for the weapon and everything else is kind of eh. So, Imprisoned Celestial, pretty decent card. I could see this making certain lists, but I think lists are very tight. I don't know if you'd want to make space to try and bubble your things like this. Imprisoned Phoenix, Shaman Mage minion, 2 mana 2/3 Elemental for dual class, dormant for 2 turns, spell damage +2. Wow. Huh. I want to put it at 3 stars because I don't know how to evaluate it, but I need to be more firm on my opinion, and I feel like this card is not great. The only way that I see this working is in like an aggro shaman for burn, because realistically in mage, you have all the tools you want to clear stuff, right? So like casting your blizzard and all the other things that you want to do that require spell damage to help control the board, you don't really care. And trying to set up with Imprisoned Phoenix feels like it's very awkward to take advantage of. So when it pops out, you need to exactly have that situation ready, otherwise it kind of dies off. I think Imprisoned Phoenix, while it's an awesome card, is going to be a little bit too niche to make work. In aggro shaman, however, once you get the spell damage up is when we just throw down, right? Like sometimes you hold on to all your spells and you wait for the spell damage totem to pop up just to go off. So I think this is another situation where you just want to, whenever this ends up popping up, you just go off. Ironclad, 3 mana 2/4 warrior minion. It's a mech, important to note. Battlecry, if your hero has armor, gain +2/+2. Realistically, if against a very slow matchup, a 3 mana 4/6. Card's not bad. I don't know why, in my mind, if you're playing a slower archetype in warrior, if you're trying to gain armor early on and you're playing Ironclad, does this hold the line? Sure. Do we really want a 3 mana 4/6? That's an amazing card, don't get me wrong. But like, is a vanilla stat card something you want to do? I feel like in most warrior lists right now, we're trying to do some more aggressive stuff with enraging and damaging. Or if it's slow control, we want bombs, right? Like Clockwork Goblin is a 3 mana card I think we just want more often, because it generally provides a bigger win con. It's not a bad card. Vanilla stats, this can become very good, but I don't see it making a cut for lists right now. Maybe later on we'll see it. Key Warden Ivory. Ooh, 5 mana 4/5 Mage Rogue dual class. Reminds me of Jandis already. Battlecry, discover a dual class spell from any class. Spell Burst, get another copy. I assume Spellburst is going to hold on to the copy of the dual class spell, not Spellburst gain a copy like the Note Taker. This card seems nuts. I'm putting this at 5 stars. This reminds me of, like, literally it's just Jandis, right? Jandis was just a phenomenal 5-drop. You ran, you played it. It does its thing. It's very efficient. It's good enough to run as a card in just about every deck. I think Keyword and Ivory does the exact same. 5 mana, 4/5, discover a spell. It's basically doing the job of Steward of Scrolls or Big Ol' Whelp. Right in between the two, you're discovering a more finite pool of cards. Spellburst to generate more value, get another copy. Love to see it. I think Mage absolutely wants to take advantage of something like that. So I think this is great. This is just straight up awesome. And Spellburst doesn't even need to be from that dual class spell. You can hold on to a cheaper one to trigger the Spellburst. I love this. I absolutely see this making lists in Mage for sure. In Rogue, maybe not, but Mage, definitely. Landslide. 2 mana Shaman spell, deal 1 damage to all enemy minions. If you're overloaded, deal 1 damage again. It's like Baby Earthquake, but you have to be overloaded. I think this is very easy to set up, right? Like, it can't be that hard to overload yourself to then deal 2 to all enemy minions. In my mind, this Landslide effect is trying to manage against Bubbles or, like, Reborn for the instance of dealing 1 damage twice rather than 2 damage. Not too crazy on it. I think Shaman's got a lot more efficient cards for mass removal. Like, Tidal Wave is something you're just going to run to heal everything up. Hagatha's Scheme, that one just develops and deals a ton of damage. Hagatha's Scheme's still in rotation, right? Oh, I hope I don't sound like an idiot by saying Hagatha's Scheme. Tidal Wave for sure is there. I think Shaman just has enough spells to deal with this. This is basically like competing with Lightning Storm, right? And honestly, Lightning Storm isn't even seeing play. I think this is slightly, that's like on par, because Lightning Storms are so mana inefficient. I think it's alright. I don't think it's gonna see a ton of play, unless there's a ton of early pressure we need to get rid of. I think it's meh. Libram of Judgment, 7 mana 5/3, corrupt, gain lifesteal. So I was talking about this card a little bit with my Discord community. If you do want to check out the Discord, we've been talking a lot about Hearthstone, and we sometimes just discuss some things that I discussed on Twitch. Once again, I'll leave that linked in the description below. Libram of Judgment isn't bad. I love the card, and I think it's pretty strong because in any deck, this is going to synergize with Librams to get cost reduced, and this will become a very efficient weapon with lifesteal. The only way to trigger Libram of Judgment's corrupt mechanic, however, in most current decks right now is Libram of Hope, and if you do end up getting discounts, Silas Darkmoon is being run in those Libram lists to make sure that you do corrupt it. Lady Leodrin, technically, she's just a much later game option, so most likely it's just Silas and Libram of Hope. I think because of that, it's a little awkward to squeeze in. I think this is basically taking the place exactly of Hammer of the Naru for a powerful weapon. And at that point, if we're running the weapon before corrupting it, like, we just want Tyrion, right? Tyrion just gives you this weapon with a 6 mana, 6/6 Taunt Divine Shield body. If we get lifesteal on it, however, that's a different story. So we need to figure out how to corrupt it more efficiently, and ultimately, the more expensive cards that are in the deck are what get cost reduced, so that doesn't even help the Libram of Judgment. Maybe you want 1 copy of Tyrion, Hammer of the Naru, something just to make sure Libram of Judgment works. To make sure you get the corrupt, not just the weapon. I think it's great. I know close games for me playing Libram Paladin have just been from the 2 Libram of Hopes not being enough and not finding Leodrin. Or if the opponent's deck can grind me where I need to play the 4th Libram of Hope, like, sometimes I still end up running out of health. Probably abusing my Penflingers too much and taking more damage than I'd like to, but if this card was available in the pool for Libram stuff, absolutely. The cost reduction here seems amazing, and I think this is like easily a one of in a deck that already has pretty decent weapons set up. I'm excited to see Libram of Judgment. I think this is going to be very good. Lightsteed, 4 mana 3/6 Priest Elemental. Your healing effects also give affected minions +2 health. Wow. This is interesting. 2 stars? This is a new archetype that Priest is going to spawn, basically, right? Like, healing effects also giving 2 health. Like, Circle of Healing just gives everything an extra 2 health, which could be frustrating to deal with. Is Circle of Healing still stand? Did they take that out? I need to really think about this. Healing effects. That's your hero power, right? Like your hero power is now upgraded. It's like the baby quest priest hero power. This does work with the quest too. So your hero power even becoming like give a minion +2 health, restore 2 health is not bad. 4 mana 3/6 stat line on an elemental like water Ellie stats, really good. Usually you have a hard time dealing with that. Pretty defensively statted, and ultimately this thing can hold the line if it's not contested early enough. I just don't know if this is a card you'd actually want to run, but I really like it. Lucky Soul Hoarder, 3 mana 3/4, Warlock Soul Demon, I was gonna say Soul Hunter. Warlock Demon Hunter dual class card, Battle Cry, shuffle 2 soul fragments into your deck. There you go, there's the soul. Corrupt, draw a card. Ooh. I'm digging it. I like this card. I think in Demon Hunter, you probably won't run it aggressively, like Spirit Jailer is just so much more efficient for how you'd want to handle this. In Warlock, however, we have a lot of good Corrupt cards that you would not mind running if you ended up corrupting this at some point, being able to shuffle 2 soul fragments and draw a card. And realistically in Warlock, you're going to have a ton of stuff that costs above 3 that you don't mind playing first to get this out of the way. This absolutely is going to see play in Warlock, I think, in some instances. I think Demon Hunter probably is not looking at it because it's not... Like, 3 mana 3/4, like, Spider Tank stats with soul fragments isn't bad, but it's just not aggressive enough for Demon Hunter, I think. We may see some play, because corrupting this probably isn't too difficult either, but at 3... Yeah, I don't know. This is maybe. I say maybe because we need more soul fragment stuff, and this absolutely does it, but I'm not sure if this is what Demon Hunter needs. Warlock, I think, can take advantage of it more. Mist Runner, 5 mana 4/4, Shaman Minion, Battle Cry, give a friendly minion +3/+3, Overload 1. I can't English with this card. Tiny Boner Mare, I love it. I don't know if this is gonna see play or not. I think Shaman could take advantage of this pretty easily, but Tiny Bone Mare is pretty cool, right? That's just all I'm saying. If the Bone Mare was great, I think this card kind of does the same thing with a good permanent stat buff, not just until the end of turn. And I think Shaman realistically can hold on to some pretty efficient minions that they could end up stat buffing. So I think this card's going to see play, absolutely. Hopefully it'll bump archetypes that aren't Evolved Shaman in a better direction. But I'm excited to see this work. I think this is going to be really solid. I don't know in what archetype you'd want to run it, but I think, like I said, I think this has a lot of good merit to it. Moonfang, 5 mana 6/3 neutral beast legendary, can only take 1 damage at a time. Maybe 2 stars. I'm leaving it at 1. I thought about this one for a while, and I had a very strong opinion of how to analyze it. Unless we can give this thing rush, I don't care. Realistically, I don't care. It could be annoying, but the way I see it is like, in terms of stickiness on the board, it's like Rattlegore, but like easier to deal with. And like hard removal gets rid of Moonfang. Hard removal, you've got to deal with Rattlegore. If you give this thing rush, sure, really good efficient trading. However, with taking 1 damage at a time, that can still be negated with things like Dark Skies and, I mean, I know Bladestorm isn't really a thing that we're doing anymore, but like, I don't think, like in aggressive decks, when you generally have small damage instances, this can easily be ignored. Once again, with like Evolved Shaman, you can still revolve that out of the way. Libram Paladin, Penflingers, you could just Penflinger this thing down. I'm gonna give it 2 stars. The 6 attack, if you have to manually hit into this thing, it will take a little bit out. That being said though, like, hard removal's hard removal, and then this card's just gonna kind of cry. So I'm not too fond of it. Nitro Boost Poison! Give a minion 2 attack, corrupt, and your weapon. 1 mana spell for Rogue and Warrior. This thing's nuts. Like Oil Rogue Trauma, I'm feeling this card. And corrupting this is not that hard at all. This is basically Deadly Poison plus a 2 attack buff, right? Like Abusive Sergeant and Deadly Poison on 1 card in classes that run weapons that notoriously can become aggressive. Amazing. This is a cool card, and I'm scared to see its impact, but I like Nitro Boost Poison. I'm excited to see that. Rally! Resurrect a friendly 1 cost, 2 cost, and 3 cost minion. So someone in my Discord was saying they have a list for this to make this work. I'm gonna be honest, and like I said, this is my opinion because I didn't really think about how to make this thing work. No. I don't see it working. Someone please, for Rally, I've heard very mixed opinions on this. Please send me a list for how we take advantage of this, because like Injured Blade Master right here, you know, Injured Colvier, or whatever the other one is, you can find hyper efficient cards for Rally. And there's no doubt in my mind you can do that. It's just like, is that variant of Priest something we want to do? Well, let me look at Paladin, right? Like Paladin, what are we trying to do on 1, 2, and 3? Aldor, True Seeker, not crazy. Dragon Tamer, alright. Shot, like, let's just say best case scenario, right? We have like McGurgle Prime, Shot, like Goody 2 Shields, Aldor. That's pretty good. In Paladin, this is a lot crazier. I like this card in Paladin a lot more than I do in Priest. I wasn't even considering the Paladin alternative. Yep, I think the card's going to be pretty decent. I think you can curve that pretty nicely if you do end up hitting the God tier 1, 2, 3 curve. First Day of School is a 1-cost minion you can also try and force into that situation. On 2, you like I said, you have Shotbot, McGurgle Prime. The Hand of a Doll is also there, but like we don't really count that. The Dragon Tamer, technically, if you want to. On 3, you got Goody 2 Shields. Probably the best 3-drop, probably the only one you really want to go. If someone's got a list for Rally, let me know. I'd be excited to see what you guys have come up with for Rally, because I think it's a decent card, but I don't know how to evaluate it. Resizing Pouch. 1 mana Hunter Druid dual class spell. Discover a card with cost equal to your remaining mana crystals. Ooh, I like this. I like this in Highlander Hunter because it's like a curve filler. And in Druid, I mean, also in Druid, it's like a curve filler, right? Like in my mind, Resizing Pouch is almost like a slightly worse Zephyr's Tempo option. Because you're always getting something that you're going to use with your mana crystals. I think the average, the way that you're going to play Resizing Pouch, on like in general, you're going to find a card you want to play that turn. And discovering a card, like with the amount of mana crystals you have left, just good curve filler. And I'm pretty sure if you have to pick, like, you know, on 10 mana, I play this, I have to pick between 3 9-drops. I'm probably going to find one of those legendary dragons, probably find a really good spell, like, you know. This is great. The legendaries and stuff that you can get from the top end, and you can kind of force this to be like the good tempo choice, I like it. I could see this seeing play in Druid for sure, maybe in even Highlander Hunter, just as a curve filler. Runaway Blackwing, 9 mana 9/9 dragon. At the end of your turn, deal 9 damage to a random enemy minion. So this is Rag without going face. And honestly, I don't think that's, like, super great. It's amazing for control. If I had to consider the way that, you know, like, big dragons at the end when removing things like that, this definitely has got some cool potential, and I think it can absolutely steamroll stuff. I don't see a world where decks that are currently being played, like Runaway Blackwing, will take advantage of the fact that you're trying to deal 9 damage to one big thing. In Paladin, Libram of Hope, like, you can absolutely hope that you hit it, but then we also just summon a bunch of dudes. In Evolved Shaman, your board just goes too wide for Runaway Blackwing to matter. Against Rattlegore, congrats, we have 8 more Rattlegores to go. It's not bad. Like, this card is extremely efficient, and if you end up discovering it, it could be useful. That's why I'm leaving it at 3 stars, because it's just very powerful, but I don't know if you want to run, like, in the current meta state we have, I don't think you want to run this for any reason. We might, but I right now I don't see it. Saddle Master, 3 mana 3/4 Hunter minion. After you play a beast, add a random beast to your hand. Isn't this like, there was a Hunter Lock and Load. It's like Hot Lock and Load, but for beasts and not spells. Not bad. I don't, like, realistically, 3 mana 3/4 with upside's good. This beast archetype of Hunter, probably not going to see play right now. Maybe later. I don't see this working. We just do different things with Hunter right now than just beasts. But cool card. To say the least, cool card. I don't think it's going to work, though. Shenanigans. When your opponent draws their second card in a turn, transform it into a banana. I love this card. Realistically, that secret, you probably are going to randomly generate it and get someone absolutely tilted from it. I don't think we're ever going to try and hard run Shenanigans with the intention of throwing someone off. I think in almost any deck that exists right now, at some point you will draw 2 cards in a turn. And spending 2 mana to negate one of your opponent's draws into a banana, in the right matchup, could be absolutely disgusting, right? I like this card. The disruption potential from it, once again, disruption guy, you know. This card's nuts. I'm gonna drop it to 4. Once again, this isn't like a thing you run in the list, but it's awesome to discover and play because most people probably, it's another thing they need to play around. Like, okay, what's the big thing I want to play? Well, then that might just end up getting hit by something else. Then their second card just fizzles to a banana. This is hard to play around. Eventually people will play around it more, but like the fact that you just recognize at some point, if I want to draw more cards, something's going to become a banana, and I need to weigh that risk of like, at what point am I okay with something becoming a banana, or the odds of it becoming a banana, and that's really cool. I like this card, and I think it'll see play. Spark Joy Cheat, 3 mana 3/3 rogue minion. Battlecry, if you're holding a secret, cast it and draw a card. Dope. Rogue secrets, generally, sometimes you find it a little awkward to figure out the mana to play dirty tricks and plagiarize. I think that Spark Joy Cheat is a great way to just mana efficient, pull that out of your hand and draw a card. It's like Inconspicuous Rider, right? Like we ran that in Highlander Hunter to just pull out the Hunter spell, and now we're also drawing a card. It's just worst case scenario, it ends up in our hand. When you're playing Rogue and you have some pretty efficient stuff, absolutely I think there's going to be situations where you end up with secrets in your hand. And especially with things like Dirty Tricks, sometimes we choose not to play it, sometimes there's Plagiarize. You'll end up building secrets in your hand you just choose not to want to play yet, and Spark Joy Cheat pulls that out exactly. I think that's a great card. I can see this seeing play in a new like secret tempo rogue, once again with Shadow Jeweler Hanar. He'll be making a comeback, I think. I'm excited to see it. Last but not least, Spiked Wheel. 1 mana 0/2 warrior weapon, has +3 attack while your hero has armor. Yeah. This is dope. A 1 mana fiery war axe with a very easy condition to set up? Absolutely. Spiked Wheel's great. Extremely efficient card. And yeah, not much to say about it. That card's awesome. I absolutely think that's going to be great. I'll see that seeing play, possibly taking the place of Sword and Board. Maybe not the full synergy of like Sky Raider and Pirates and stuff taking it away. I think sometimes you might need some of those early drops, but absolutely I think Spiked Wheel's awesome. And I'm excited. I think that card is going to see play too. That wraps up my my tier list. So at 5 stars, Conjure Mana Biscuit. Mana cheating seems good. Keyword and Ivory. Great 5-drop, you just want to run it. Nitro Boost Poison. Reminds me of Tinker's Oil. Disgusting. Spiked Wheel, very efficient. All these cards I think have great potential. At 4 stars, you can go back and look over what I thought about all of them. At 3 stars, decent potential. Maybe a one-of in certain lists. If you can build a list properly, I could see them working. Or they're just good quality cards. At 2 stars, I think we're going into suboptimal hard quality territory, or a little bit hard to make work. And at 1 star, I don't expect to see these in standard. I'm giving a lot of cards decent potential. I'm not going to discount anything. I wouldn't be surprised if things shift up or down a tier. If you guys think I'm absolutely wrong on certain cards, feel free to let me know in the comments, and go ahead and just let me know what you guys think. Leave a like, and once again, if you did enjoy this video and you do want to see a little bit more Hearthstone content, I'm going to try and do this more actively, so don't forget to subscribe, click the little bell to see when I post another video. That being said, if you do want to contribute and talk to me more and my community, the Discord, the Twitch stream, and all my other social medias will be linked down below. But thank you guys so much for watching all the way through. I hope you guys are excited for the Hearthstone set as much as I am, and I'll catch you guys on the next video. Take care.